Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to call to order the February meeting of the Personnel and Compensation Committee. A copy of today's agenda and supporting documents for the agenda items can be found on the county website under the Legislature tab. The schedule for these meetings and all committee meetings is also available on the county website. And as a reminder, these meetings are open to the public. At this time, I'd like to ask you to please silence your cell phones, and if everyone could please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And roll call, please. Mary Ann.
Essex.
Here.
Hill.
Here.
Yuskevich.
Here.
Sassy. Scott.
Here.
DeGanga.
Here.
Tobin.
Here.
Hunter.
Here.
1 hour.
Okay, so for the first item on our agenda, we have Dr. Roman. Dr. Roman is here today. Okay.
Lisa Lee.
Oh, Lisa, come forward. Thank you. And I will read the motion. It is a request to create one data entry supervisor, health grade 11 position, LR number 015.
Second.
The health department has recognized that over the years, the added complexity to the permitting process has led us to the creation of this position. We have processed over 3,000 applications throughout the year for food services, temporary residences like hotels and motels, temporary food, et cetera. And this position is the one who sort of manages all that data and the submission of all that data, including the violations that are, if there are any, that need to be reported to the state. So this position was created to acknowledge and accommodate those requirements.
So who's doing this work now?
So right now, we do have an employee who is a grade 8 secretary administrative assistant 1. And she did have a desk audit of her current duties. And this was the position that the Human Resources Department recommended that we move her into.
Okay, so this is a creation of a position so you can basically move a current employee into a more senior level role
Yes,
to more closely align with what she's currently doing.
right. Her duties have certainly evolved over the years that she's been with the health department, from, you know, more of a secretarial duty to more of a data oriented type of role.
Okay, and this is titled as a supervisor, so how many folks are in that department that she would be overseeing?
So she would be overseeing directly 4 positions. One of them is unfilled right now,
Okay.
3 positions currently, but she also manages the mileage and car usage of the whole entire environmental health division. So it could be 30 to 35 people, their time off requests and things like that, and keeps track of all of that information for the division.
Okay, and have you been recruiting for that open position? The one you said is not filled? It's just, it's
Yes.
been open, you're recruiting for it? You
Yes,
just haven't hired someone yet?
we recently received our approval to hire, and we're hoping to be able to hire someone into that position soon.
Okay. The reason I ask is a lot of times folks get moved into a higher level position, but the work that they were doing that was sort of lower level remains, and I want to make sure that she is doing level appropriate work and
Yes.
not retaining the lower level work.
Yes, that's what we're hoping, that the lower level work that she's currently doing will be shifted towards a senior clerk position.
No, just wondering how long the position was advertised on, was it on the Orange County website or where did somebody?
The senior clerk position or
The
this
one that you,
particular position?
the one that you had on the website, you said.
So the current position that we're asking for has not been advertised, because it's been a result of a desk audit, for a particular position.
Okay,
The senior clerk, we just recently received, permission to hire, so there's a list for the position of people who have taken the test for that position. We're in the process of canvassing the people, and then if we don't get any responses from the canvas letters, then we would start advertising. But we're required by civil service law to offer the position to the people who
That
are.
took the test,
Yeah,
right.
to-
And how long do people stay on that list?
It could be up to 4 years, depending on how the list is used.
So sometimes those people are gonna respond, oh, I got another job, and sometimes they may be interested.
Are you?
So,
Does it have to do, I mean, now that the Medicaid, if there's like problems or errors, we can penalize this position, we can make sure that like, keep track of so we don't have errors. Is related to that.
No, this is really related to the permitting that the health department does for the facilities that we issue permits for, like restaurants. If you go to a food festival, every food truck has been permitted by us. They've had, an inspection and permitting, and all of the temporary residences, hotels are inspected twice a year. It's the children's camps, bathing beaches, mobile home parks, campgrounds. There's a big list under the New York State Sanitary Code of types of facilities that the health department.
Okay. Thank you.
So I just want to be clear in understanding. So with the creation of this position, the other three remaining under her
Mhm.
will actually be assuming the duties that she was doing prior to this?
They'll be
How
assuming,
is it going to be shifted? I guess what I'm trying to.
so I guess if you were to look at all of her duties,
Yes,
the higher level duties that she was really already doing
Right.
under her grade 8 position, the Human Resources Department looked at those and said, you know what, these duties are really more like a
Beyond
grade
those.
11, but beyond the position.
Right.
So those she will keep. The other, so like supervising the staff, training staff, et
Right.
cetera, but the lower level tasks will either be assigned to the new senior clerk once we get that person, or parsed out among the remaining
Yeah,
staff.
okay. Thank you for clarifying.
just one other question, sort of related to what Legislator Tobin was asking about, and not really related to this role, but since I have you. Are you anticipating higher volume and workload related to the changes that have happened with the Medicaid requirements and the SNAP benefits requirements for folks, applying and having that administered through the Department of Health, or is that not under your?
I don't think it's.
I think that's
Social difference, social services. Okay, fair enough, sorry.
No, that's okay. You can tell by the look on my face. but
Like,
we're
no,
done.
not you, okay.
Not me.
Yeah, good, okay. Anybody else have questions? No, everyone's all good? Okay. All in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, our second agenda item, we have the under sheriffs here, I'm sorry.
I'm the chief.
Meredith.
Chief.
Meredith.
Okay, Chief McGovern,
That's
got
not the
it,
sheriff. Stuck with me today.
okay. So the motion states it's a request to appropriate funds in the amount of $750,000 from community-oriented policing services to create 6 grant-funded deputy sheriff positions. Positions will automatically be abolished upon the cancellation of the grant, LR number 018.
So moved.
Second? Floor is yours.
So, we've discussed this grant previously in public safety, and the grant was accepted back in December. So this is the first time that we've come to this committee to discuss it, and some people are on both committees, so you already know a little bit about this program. So this grant is a federal grant. It's called the COPS Grant for Hiring. It's designed to help enhance public safety and introduce additional law enforcement into communities. It's a taxpayer-friendlier way to do this. The grant is spread out. You have 5 years to utilize all the funds. Each position is partially funded for 3 of those 5 years, and it gives you, again, 5 years to integrate those positions into your budget. I know that in the agenda, it does mention the abolishment of these positions at the end of the grant funding, which is not something that we would like to do. I did speak to Commissioner Chapman this morning about that. I know that is standard language that they put into any agenda that would involve grant hirings, but it would really defeat the purpose of doing this because we've been here, and again, some of you I've just met today, but over the last couple of years, I've been coming to public safety, talking about the work of the sheriff's office. We've talked about the increasing demands on the role of the sheriff, the duties of the sheriff, the responsibilities of the sheriff, and the needs of the county, which has grown exponentially. I've been in the sheriff's office now for almost 20 years myself, and it's changed quite dramatically in that time. And I would say under Sheriff Arteta, since 2023 has rolled around, he has initiated some of the most innovative and progressive police programs in the Hudson Valley, if not in New York State. Some of those programs would include some of the things, again, that we've talked a lot about, like public safety. And obviously, public safety has been instrumental in bringing these programs forward. We have our STRIVE program, which is something that was initiated by the state. Orange County was selected to be a STRIVE jurisdiction. The whole purpose of the program is to pick jurisdictions that have high levels or high volume of domestic violence incidents. And we are dedicating one full-time investigator to that initiative to combat domestic violence and to work with victims of domestic violence. Right now, it's Newburgh, New Windsor, Middletown, and I want to say there's one more municipality. And there's talk right now about expanding that into several others. I know Port Jervis being one of them. So that's one program. I mean, that's, I think, really important work that needs to be done. In fact, I know that over the years, Kellyanne from Fearless and I have talked about doing something like this, but there was no funding. And in the past, the previous chiefs were not interested in pursuing that or putting this type of manpower towards it. So that's one program. Our CVE program is another program that has come about since 2023. That's our commercial vehicle enforcement program. We have several deputies and a sergeant right now who are trained to become full inspectors. That has taken them a lot of time to train and to learn how to do the inspections. I know that since the inception of that program, I think they've written about 1,000 tickets to commercial vehicles. They've written about 700 tickets that were all out of service vehicles. Usually when I come to public safety, I always bring sort of the worst of the worst that have passed through Orange County and who we've taken off the roads so that you can all look at that. Other programs that we've been bringing forward are the Fly Car. That's another program that's come in under Sheriff Arteta to expand the duties. It's basically the patrol car that operates in jurisdictions that have slow EMS response time. And the deputies who are assigned to that vehicle are now trained EMTs and outfitted with specialty medical equipment. They've responded to some significant calls, I know, during the time that they've been in these cars. We just expanded that program. We received a second car on a grant. And we just had 2 more deputies become certified EMTs. So we're up to 6 Fly Car operators and 2 vehicles. So now we can deploy that into 2 areas. Usually we work with county dispatch to look at the stats and see where there's the need for volume. And the idea is that you want to bring response under 10 minutes in as many areas as possible. So now we'll be able to use that car in 2 jurisdictions. They do regular sheriff's work, but they prioritize medical calls. So we try not to, they won't have people in custody. They won't be doing transports. They're left to be on patrol so they can do patrol work, but also respond quickly to these types of emergencies. Other programs that we have are Building Bridges. That's a program that also started under Sheriff Arteta, where we work with YAP and youth programs in the city of Newburgh to work with young adults who have been negatively affected by gun violence. That is a really great program that started over the last couple of years there. That's a program that he's looking to expand. We also have, right now, we're applying for grant funding to expand that into other areas of the county. We also have our Law Enforcement Associate Program, which is another really innovative program that we've been working on with HR. There's a lot of pretty much policing in the United States is sort of in a recruitment crisis. It's really hard to get young people to come into this line of work now. And we've been working with HR to come up with a way to basically widen the net of who we can recruit. Right now, it's limited to meet the qualifications, you have to have certain educational qualifications. It can be kind of difficult for some people to meet those qualifications. And what we're looking to do is create a CSEA position. Well, actually, we've already created them, where they can come in and work as apprentices in the department, learn all of the ways of the department. They'll know that this is the line of work they want to be in. We'll know that they are good candidates for this position, and they will not have to meet all of the same requirements as to take the traditional police list. And this can open up the opportunity to serve where some maybe young people didn't have the opportunity to go to college. And that's kind of the intent behind this program, which is just about to probably launch towards the end of this year. We're right now working with HR to do some housekeeping things on how we're going to recruit and hire some of the specific things with that. We also have, I know that when we were just, when we come to public safety this Thursday, the program that we're going to be discussing is called OCTAC. It's the Orange County Threat Assessment Committee. That's a program that was mandated by the governor a couple of years ago. Every county is required to have one. I know that we're one of the counties that's much further along than others. It's a multidisciplinary team that comes together to basically intervene in situations early before traditional policing means are necessary. So it's kind of like the kind of thing where we're going to be working with schools, we're working with mental health, we're working with emergency services, the district attorney's office, we're working with the county attorney, all of these different agencies, and there are other partner resources too that are within the community, BOCES schools and some others. And sometimes there could be an incident that doesn't quite reach the level of criminality, but there's definite signs of a pathway to violence or mental health crisis that could be leading towards the pathway to violence. And the idea is to not intervene with traditional policing, but to find the correct means to deal with the problem, maybe by finding the right resources to connect a person with. It could be mental health, it could be social services, whatever it is. I'm speaking very broadly on it because these are big programs. We're going to talk more about that on Thursday. That program is going to be rolled out this month. We actually already have several referrals from different entities, police departments, some from the county, some from schools. I think we probably have about 6 referrals that we're monitoring right now. But now everyone is trained that's on the team. And as the spring rolls around, every deputy, actually every employee, even the civilians, will be trained in threat assessment. So they will all be able to identify these things and know when a referral is appropriate. So these are some of the programs that we're working on. But like I said, all of these things, which are really challenging kind of the police norms, are going to take time and going to come with a price tag at some point, which is the addition of the 6 deputies, so that we can continue to do all of these things. Because right now, the county has grown exponentially, but our staffing hasn't. And we're trying to keep up with the demand. And often our people on a daily basis get hit for overtime. I would say our midnight shift pretty much every day has to stay over. And statistically, that leads to burnout, fatigue. That's when people make bad decisions, get in car accidents and all of these other issues. So, and from a recruitment and retention standpoint, we're looking to try to find younger candidates and draw them into the department. So if we were to abolish these positions, it wouldn't make a lot of sense. It takes probably at least a year to get a cop out of the academy, and through our FTO process, our field training process. At the sheriff's office, our field training is much more extensive than other police departments because we wear so many more hats than a traditional police department. So it's a really long process. And I would say that pretty much from my experience, I would say it takes a village and at least 3 years to raise a decent cop who is competent and confident enough to go out and work autonomously and make good decisions. And I would say, Tim Flanagan, you've been on the force for many years, you're retired. Wouldn't you say that that's true?
Takes a while, sure.
It takes a long time. So it's going to tax the entire agency to get these people to a place where they are viable and out and able to work. It takes years to get that kind of experience. So to abolish the positions at 6 years, we're basically just becoming a training ground for other departments to poach from us. And we'll be paying to train them, taxing our own training system, getting them through. They're going to just be out of the academy, just finishing their first year. And then we would not be using them anymore and sending them off to go work at other departments. So no one would really want to take this job, or they would only take it with the intention of leaving, which again goes back to our recruitment and retention issue, which I know we've discussed in committees before. So this is why we're asking for the positions and asking to remove that stipulation so that we can really bring more service to Orange County and more of the programs that the sheriff wants to roll out, because like I said, we're kind of at the forefront of what I see any other county doing.
How many positions do you have open currently for
Vacancies,
deputies?
vacancies.
Mhm.
I think right now maybe 2, but there's people in background right now that we're backgrounding, so we don't have many vacancies right now. I think there might be 2 people in background.
And does the grant stipulate that it has to be 6 positions, or can you use the funds differently?
For this particular grant is for hiring, it's for 6 positions.
It does say it has to be for 6
Yes.
positions. Okay,
And we were looking to do probably 3 towards the end of 2026 and then 3 in 2027. So it wouldn't be all at once. And then again, we have 5 years to integrate them into our budget, and I have Jim DeSalvo here who can talk more on that part of it.
Legislator Tobin?
So would you be spending budget if you take up add these positions?
Say that again.
Would you guys be spending your budget if you add these positions? Or you could-
By the time, the whole process of hiring, and by the time you get to that point, it usually takes 4 to 5 months just to go through the whole process. So you're never in a full year of pay. So you'd be pretty much half and half. As we go into the next budget season, it'll be an adjustment.
So it'd be adjusted to cover it.
Yeah.
And we always have vacancies. There's always people retiring. We always have this austerity that we have to meet, which we always do. So it always works out. But, like I said, to have public safety, I think is one of the cornerstones of society. And in order to have a safe community, policing is part of that. And trying to do that in these ways that are more service-based, we need people to do these things. And I think that all these programs have shown to be very, very well received and effective.
What do you plan to use these positions for specifically? I know you mentioned a lot of programs in your opening, but is there a specific program
For
you're gonna
these?
assign these positions to be working on?
Well, I guess that would depend on who comes in. I mean, once they come in, just learning the basics, like I said, that takes several years. So usually in the beginning, they're gonna work patrol, answering calls, doing civil enforcement, learning the basics before you would probably put them into anything specialized. We have brought in some people as laterals from other departments. I know we had one individual lateral in from the NYPD 2 years ago. And when we were looking for an investigator for the Strive program, he was selected. He already had experience in policing, but he was a really good fit for the program, had experience working with domestic violence in the city, Spanish speaker, very passionate about the work. I just thought he was a really good fit, and we have a panel that makes the selections. So depending on when they come in, what their backgrounds are, what their passion is for, I try not to put people in a position that they don't like. Like if they say, I don't like writing commercial vehicle tickets, I wouldn't want to put them on that. But if they say, I really like working with kids, maybe I would put them working more on building bridges or our junior police academy. It would be hard to say until I see who they are, I guess.
But you will be assigning them to one of these community-oriented programs.
Eventually, yes.
Okay.
And I would say pretty much all of our deputies in some capacity are doing community policing. We have so many different outreach programs now. I mean, they all are participating. These are even like, for example, building bridges. We have 2 deputies that tend to be the main 2 that do run that program. And then I usually rotate in a 3rd person just so they all get to have the experience of working with the young people. And again, so they can see what they like. I like doing this type of work. Sometimes they don't know until they try it. And I don't know what else Sheriff Arteta is going to have up his sleeve. He always has something new for me to do, and I'm sort of his project manager, so I'm sure he'll have something else for me.
Legislator Scanlon, did you say something?
Yeah, I do. I've been on the public safety for almost 9 years now. So I've watched these programs grow and really the impact that they have on our community, especially the fly cars and stuff. I mean, that really jumped off from right the get-go, and we're pushing whatever. They've saved multiple lives and made it so that these people actually, by the time an ambulance got there, they actually had a shot to stay alive. So some of the things they've done, we've got the summer camp, which last year was packed, and we're looking at possibly doing 2 this year. So there's so much impact with the community itself that's not so much centered around the public safety, well, not public safety, the policing side of it. So they're really out there and they're doing a wonderful service in the communities. They're interacting, they're on the ground, they're involved with people. I think this is a wonderful opportunity. We have always instilled that, but I would, at this point, probably like to make a motion to eliminate that and to let them go with it. If we run into problems with budgets, we can always address it at that point if we need to. But I think to not take the money and not do this and not put the support and, the belief that we're going to put some more good officers on the ground that are going to be involved with our communities, it would be a shame because of that one clause.
Legislator Scott?
Irregardless,
I know.
the funding would be released and we would be able to run the program. You mentioned 3 years it's going, it will be partially funded, so is the
Yes.
county we're gonna have the budget to
Yes,
actually make
correct.
that whole?
Correct, but I think it will be worth it.
No, and you know what, you have no argument with me, I'm
But
thinking
that's how it
budget,
works,
I'm
yes.
thinking budget, I'm thinking money. And, I respectfully disagree because I think that we need to see how this works. Because then I've seen in other things where if this is lifted, then you're kind of married to that in your budget and you have to actually fund these things. So I'm opposed to taking that out.
Yeah, I had some reservations, as much as I appreciate all of the programming and hopefully that we can talk more about it. I didn't know about the summer camp, and things, especially living in the city of Newburgh, where my district is, there's plenty of need. But I'm a little concerned about the automatic abolish. I'm a little concerned about that clause, so we're not in the budget.
Yeah, have you received these funds in the past?
No, we've tried to obtain this grant in the past, but did not get it. This time we actually did.
I think, yeah.
Look at Becky.
Do you have a second before the discussion to Kathy's motion?
We're doing a discussion, but I need a second for us to actually go into discussion. Okay, thank you. So
we need to vote
Now you
on,
can keep
we need to
talking.
vote on her motion.
No.
So there's
It's
discussion.
gotta be a second so that we can discuss it. So it was just a little jump.
Got it. Legislator Essay?
Yeah, so the question I have is, you mentioned about that you have 2 right now in the investigation unit being investigated for an opportunity to be hired. But you basically are saying that you have 3 that you would like to roll out. Are those 2 already budgeted and then the 3 would be additional?
Explain that, the 3, oh, the 3.
Yeah,
the
for
6
3
you're
into
talking about?
2026 and you stated for 3.
Those are part of this grant. We wanted
So
to-
those are part of the
Yeah, the
grants?
2 we already had, they're vacancies. Then we're looking to roll out 3 in 2026 and 3 in 2027.
Right, so it
That
would
would
be
be
3
for
plus
this.
2 would be 5, am I correct? I just want to make sure my
No, 3
calculation.
plus 3.
No,
those
what I'm
2
saying
are
into
already there.
2026 is already budgeted. The
They're
first
already
two-
budgeted, I'm
Okay,
sorry,
that's
yes.
that's my
Yes.
question, okay.
Yeah, I had asked her if they had any vacancies currently, and she
Right.
said they had 2.
Yeah.
Right, I just want to know if it was
Already.
part of this that they were calculating.
No.
Okay, no problem.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, no worries. Look, I think the grant is great. I'm happy, I think we're all in support of creating these positions. I think where the sticking point is, and obviously, the motion that's on the table is around the whether or not the positions are to be abolished or not, or after the grant funding is finished. You had mentioned in your opening statement, the reason they give you those 3 to 5 years,
Mhm.
right, to use the funds is to give you that time
Right,
to integrate those roles into your budget.
right.
And so we're not going anywhere. If you want to come back within those 3 to 5 years and ask us for the creation of new positions so that you don't lose those roles,
Right.
right? You can come back and tell us how great those folks have been doing
Okay,
and the community programs that they have been involved in, and advocate for us to permanently add those positions to the budget.
okay,
I think that's really, as I see it, the best way to go about this. By removing this stipulation, for me, personally, it feels a little like a backdoor to adding positions to your budget.
Mhm.
And I just would prefer to do it the other way.
okay.
But happy to entertain legislators to get this motion and
So the downside of that is if you are someone who's looking for this career, okay, if you do not have any certainty that you're gonna go through all this, two things are gonna happen. You're not going to get people who are gonna really be qualified and want to do this because there's no security in it. Okay, the second part of that is what the chief has already stated, is that you are going to have people that if we put them through it, and then whether we're on the board or somebody else is, and they decide not to keep these positions going, we just paid to send these people somewhere
To another
else. So we're putting all the time, the effort, the money into trying to keep them part of us, and if we didn't get the funding at that point, one, we're going to lose out on people that may not want to take a gamble. They might want to go someplace else rather than be here because they won't have that, idea of being able to stay here. It's an unknown. And if not, then we're going to be training those people to go someplace else if we, once again, they're just stuck in a, level there where they're not really sure if they're keeping their job or not.
Party Leader Ramos.
I just want to point out that the stipulation is pretty standard across departments in the county. So if we're going to remove it for this position in the sheriff's, then we're going to have to start doing it for everyone. That's, just from a parity standpoint, like if we're going to do it for this, then in my opinion, we're going to have to start doing it for everyone. So just putting it out there because it's, if we're gonna, this is language that in my time in the legislature has been pushed heavily to kind of protect the county from the very same thing you're doing or saying, right? Which is like down the line, we're gonna be kind of forced to budget for these positions. So I would just put that out there that if we're gonna remove that stipulation and that language, then we're opening ourselves up to doing that for departments across the county.
Chairwoman Totel.
Thank you. I took most of the words out of my mouth, but going back further, this stipulation was instilled prior. I'm going back 9 years now. I believe it was a year or two prior to my joining the legislature. And it was specifically so that once these grant fundings dried up, we as a county would not be left holding the requirements to fund these positions. And we've had this, you saw it with the health department last month. We have it across the board throughout almost every department in the county where they'll receive grant funding. And the stipulation is when the grant funding ends, the position ends to protect us. So I agree with what you're saying, Chairman Hunter, and this is just a protection thing. While I understand what Legislator Sedenga is saying about the desire of the position, I don't think it would behoove us at this point to change course in this instance or in any instance. Thank you.
Legislator Essig.
Yeah, so it is a concern right now because the arguments are strong on both avenues. But the question really is that we are going to put these individuals through an academy, and we are taking up almost 7 to 8 months, just leaving them in schooling. And then when they come out, we only have them for 3 to 4 months. And then if the grant does dry up, we lost all that training, which obviously now we just educated these young individuals. 5 years, I'm just saying, I'm sorry, I apologize, I stand corrected. So we just educated all of these officers, and now they're just going to do a 24-hour resignation rehire at another municipality. But on the other entity, I'm hoping that basically we could come to an understanding that would be in the best interest for not only for here, but for public safety. But obviously to make sure that this committee understands that the grant does say, for the time, and that's the way the grant is written. So I have to agree with the stipulation as the grant stays as funding. So I'll stand with that.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of a difference. A lot of the grants you get, like through the health department, social services, some of those are generally revolving grant funds. So at the end of the grant term, you reapply and get funding continues. I think this is a little bit different. I know this is it. The language is in there because of HR. They got their place and everything. But in this situation, I think it's different. I mean, the grant purpose of the grant is to hire and train police officers to get them, incorporated in the department. You've got 5 years to incorporate them into your budget. So it's a little bit different situation here. So that's why I support the amendment.
Point of clarification, how often can you apply for this?
We can apply for it whenever they put it out. It's whenever
Okay,
they
I
put it
wasn't
out.
sure if it was
But
annually or.
it is federal, so it's very competitive.
Oh.
It's not the kind of grant that you're going to receive over and over. It's meant, like I said, to help to expand public safety and increase law enforcement in the community and to give you time to absorb it into your budget. It's not meant to be a reoccurring thing. So you're correct. That's the purpose of it. And then they try to go to different communities. I know that when we've tried to get this in the past, we were denied with a lot of the programs that we've brought forward. We use these to articulate. Specifically, I believe in this instance, we used the STRIVE program, talking about the need to increase policing to combat domestic violence was one of our main articulations for the need for this grant, because all of the deputies are going to be working with Fearless now to receive the lethality threat assessment training and to basically respond to these types of complaints. So, and working with victims. So that was one of the ways that we did articulate this time the need for it in this county. And also the fact that we have a lot of unincorporated areas, a lot of rural areas that don't have police coverage and these sorts of things.
Senator Redeker. Hi, sorry for back here. Has there been an evaluation done about the state of attrition, sort of retirements plan the next 5 to 6 years in the sheriff's office so that we can see these are not job losses, but rather job training, prepping us for the future? But if the grant tries up
You want to know how many people are going to retire?
in that timeframe, we're talking about this as a potential loss, right? If we don't include this, but
Right.
the reality is, or if we take out that clause, but the reality is, this could be a phenomenal long-term job training program to replace, retirees in a couple of years.
I mean,
So do we have those numbers?
I have the numbers as to who's eligible to retire, but who will actually retire, I wouldn't know.
Well, that,
Okay.
sometimes we hire people in my line of work with, a 2-year, 4-year grant and think, oh, there might be retirement, and that's sort of the trade-off, right? That you might be able to slide in. So I don't think that's terrible to think through and get that data.
Sure, we have that.
Yeah, we do.
We do,
We're still
yeah.
discussing.
Okay, I'm just
So
trying.
we do have a motion.
So just for clarification, I apologize for interrupting here, Hunter. There was a motion made by legislator Stiganga, second by legislators Riskevich. That motion is to remove the language noting that the positions will automatically be abolished upon cancellation of the grant funding. The vote will have to be taken on that amendment first. And just as a reminder, pursuant to our manual, 5 ayes is what's required for a motion to pass.
Anyone else? Comments? More discussion? It's tough. And I thank everybody for their comments. So
Chairman, can I just add
Oh,
a
sure.
couple things? So just so you all understand that it approximately takes around $25,000 to train, equip, get a new officer or deputy up to on the road by themselves, whether it's the FTO hours, the school that they go through, the academy. So the county's going to be doing that investment through the program. That's not covering their salary or benefits. So just keep that in mind. In addition to that, the sheriff's office budget is approximately $110 million. So over a course of 5 years, funding half of 3 positions is, doesn't change their plans and when it comes to cost. And we have been in front of multiple committees with the understanding that we had to go find a way to make it taxpayer friendly. We are doing more and trying to be able to change the number of folks we have there because it hasn't changed in the last 20 years. So as the county has grown, as the chief has mentioned. So we put in for this grant, which from what I understand, you have like a 30% chance of getting that we put in before and we're unsuccessful. So just keep that in mind, whatever you folks decide. And that's why we wanted to try to break it up too. I mean, if 3 and 3 doesn't meet, the mindset, then it would be 2 and 2 and 1, whatever, or 2, and we'll figure it out. Also, the 5 years is, we have to spend the money within a certain period of time. And it has to be for new hires, So they'll be coming in at the lowest level. Whereas if we're transferring someone in at a different level, the pay is much greater. So just giving you some financial information.
And just as a point of clarification on when these jobs are posted, does it have to include in the posting that these positions are funded by this particular grant?
We would disclose that to them. Yes.
And just one last quick clarification. These 6 positions would only be for the community-oriented policing services. That's what this grant is for. And the 6 recruits would only be working within that, or?
Well, they're gonna be deputy sheriffs. They're gonna do everything that we do. That's the name of the grant. It's, yes, but they're gonna do everything that we do.
Okay, including,
Oh, yes, once they're at the point where they're ready to do these type of specialty things, they need to learn the basic things first.
All right, so we'll vote on the proposed amendment. And just as a reminder, the amendment is to remove the last statement or last sentence of the proposed resolution, which states positions will automatically be abolished upon the cancellation of the grant funding. So legislator Segenga's motion, which was seconded by legislator Riskevich, would be to remove that language. So if we can do a roll call for the vote, please.
Tobin?
No.
Hill?
no,
Scott?
No.
DeGanga?
Yes.
Essex?
No.
Riskevich?
Yes.
No.
5, 2. Motion.
If we could do a vote to approve the resolution as it stands originally. Roll call, please.
Tobin?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Scott?
Yes.
DeGanga?
Yeah.
Essex?
Yes.
Riskevich?
Yes.
Hunter?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you.
Please keep us posted.
I will be.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Sure. That concludes our meeting. I have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
second.
Thank you.